Hey, how's it going? Coach Ryan Family here from the Fat Loss Solution. Today I'm going to talk about something that not a lot of people talk about. It's often neglected in terms of fat loss, performance, muscle gain, all areas of physical performance, and that is hydration. In fact, it's so often neglected, I will openly admit that I often even neglect it, and it's one of those things I have to kind of smack myself on the head sometimes. Duh. You know, if I'm spinning my wheels with someone and I find out it's often the missing link. So this could be the missing link to why you may not be getting the results you're after, and that is hydration. Just to give you an idea of how powerful hydration is for your body, a 1% decrease in hydration can decrease your performance by 10%. Okay? Wrap your head around that for just a second. So instead of talking percentages, let's talk numbers. You guys, everyone knows, you should know by now that I am a huge proponent of tracking physical performance, and that unleashing your best physical performance is what's going to get you the visual results you're looking for. In other words, someone who is capable of running a 60-second 400-meter sprint is going to be a lot leaner visually than someone who can only run a 2-minute or 120-second 400-meter sprint. It's not all, it's, you know, same fashion, someone who can squat 500 pounds is most likely going to be larger from a muscular standpoint than someone who can only squat 150 pounds. Okay, there's always exceptions to the rule, but I'm huge on physical performance. So what does this mean from a numbers standpoint? This means that someone who's capable of running a 60-second 400-meter sprint when they're dehydrated just by 1%, so maybe they just missed out on a little bit of water that day, didn't quite get what they should, 1% hydration, that same person is going to run that 400 meters in 66 seconds. So 6 seconds difference. Now this is devastating for a competitive athlete. If we're talking an Olympic athlete that's 1% dehydrated, not only are they not going to medal where they should, but they might not, shoot, the Olympics committee might not even include them on the list as having participated in the Olympics. Okay, 6 second difference in the Olympics, where medals are decided by hundredths or thousandths of a second. It's crazy. So an Olympic athlete can't afford to be dehydrated, but how does that apply to fat loss or muscle gain? Well, fat loss or muscle gain is never ever determined by one workout at a time, like the Olympics. So in the Olympics, one race is going to make or break your career. Fat loss or muscle gain, not so much. One workout will never make or break your fat loss. What does matter the most, though, is the cumulative effect of workout after workout after workout over a period of time. Consistency is key. Constantly improving your performance is key. So let's take that same 400-meter example. I love 400-meter sprints for fat loss. You have someone who's capable of running it in 60 seconds, but because they're never quite hydrated, each time they run it, they're running it in 66 seconds. Over the course of a year, by constantly performing 10% worse than you could, your fat loss is going to be it's not going to be very good because you're not taxing your body, you're not taxing your metabolic systems to their absolute capacity. And that's critical for fat loss. So this is huge. Hydration is huge. It can absolutely have a negative effect on your performance, and conversely, it can absolutely have a positive effect on your performance if you're not doing the right things now and you change them. So it's important that you listen here. So what are my recommendations? What do I recommend for hydration? Well, first we have to understand hydration is two parts. It's fluid intake and it's electrolyte balance. A lot of people think it's just drink more water, but the electrolytes matter too, and often, in some cases, simply drinking more water actually makes you more hydrated because you're diluting the electrolytes. So the electrolytes are sodium, potassium, magnesium, and chloride. And it's very important to have these levels balanced. Now, without having crazy lab tests done, the best way to achieve electrolyte balance is by eating a balanced diet. So getting plenty of good animal proteins, lean meats, plenty of vegetables, fruits, from a wide variety of sources, appropriate seasoning. So if you train hard and you're on a fairly low carb diet, you need a lot more sodium. So things like organic pink Himalayan sea salt is a good option. It's very tasty and it helps to boost that sodium, boost your electrolytes there. So yeah, just a wide variety of food. Now, if you're a really hard training athlete, you may need to go a step beyond just eating a variety of food. You may need to introduce some type of electrolyte powder, some type of electrolyte drink. I often recommend raw organic coconut water to people because it has a very good electrolyte profile for humans. Now with that being said, I don't mean the coconut water like the lemonade, lime, raspberry flavored extra sugar coconut water. I'm talking organic raw coconut water in its unaltered state. It does have a little bit of carbohydrates, but it's, in my opinion, if you're training really hard, like twice a day training, that little bit of amount of carbohydrates during exercise is acceptable to get the electrolyte balance. I've even used Pedialyte with people before. It's something used for kids that have diarrhea, but it has a good electrolyte profile for athletes. It's higher in carbs and sugar as well, so just be cautious of that. If carbs are a concern for you, look for a good electrolyte powder that does not have any added carbs. And that's something to include in your water if you're training hard 2 to 3 times a day. So electrolyte balance is important. What are my recommendations on water? For fluid intake, I want you to take your body weight in pounds, multiply it by 0.7, and then multiply it by 1. Those two numbers, that is your range of fluid for the day in ounces. So my range, for example, I'm 250 pounds, so my range is 175 ounces to 195 ounces. There's 128 ounces of water in 1 gallon of water. So as you can see, this recommendation is quite high. I'm taking for granted, or I'm taking into account that you should be training hard while doing this, that you're not sedentary, and that you're getting a wide variety of electrolytes through your food. So it's very aggressive, but again, it's better to err on the side of slightly too much water than not enough water. It's very hard to drink enough water to actually cause problems for yourself. You know, there is there's something called hyponatremia, which basically means diluted, severely diluted electrolyte levels in the body, and you really have to almost try to do that. It's very hard to accidentally do. In fact, it's most common seen in ultra endurance athletes. So the people that do the 100K desert runs, they tend to, a lot of them will often exhibit some low-level hyponatremia. But if you're just training hard for fat loss, it's hard to get that. So I wouldn't worry about having a little bit high of a water intake. You may be peeing a lot, but who cares? It's worth it to me to make a couple extra trips to the bathroom, to know that all my metabolic systems are going to be running properly, everything's going to be firing on all cylinders, I'm going to have great workouts, and I'm never going to be missing out on any performance factors. So the best way to do it, what I recommend, get a bottle that has the ounces marked on it, or that you know how big it is. This is a 20-ounce bottle here, so I need about 10 of these a day. It's pretty simple. Get your phone out, make a little tally for each bottle that you finish, and try to get your goal for the day. If you want to go real old school with it, get out a sticky pad and a pen and make little tallies, but who uses paper and pen anymore? Come on, we're in a digital age. No, I'm just kidding. I do that too sometimes. So that's the easiest way to track your water intake, track your hydration, and to never let poor hydration influence your performance, because it will have a negative impact on your fat loss if you don't nail it on the head. I'm Coach Ryan Family from the Fat Loss Solution. I hope you learned something today. If you like what you saw, hit subscribe, and have a great day. God bless.